Coming up on today's show, I'm going to be discussing that now infamous interview Gianluca Scamacca has given to an Italian journalist, and of course discussing the latest on Declan Rice and the saga with his move to Arsenal. All of that is coming next right here on West Ham Unofficial. So just the two stories today, and we will start with Gianluca Scamacca then. So he conducted an interview with an Italian newspaper a couple of days ago, mentioning about his West Ham future, and it brought a complete storm in the West Ham world, of course, with Fabrizio Romano sort of not misquoting it, but picked out little segments to sort of infer that Scamacca wanted to leave West Ham. It caused a big storm. There was a lot of people that went in straight away and criticised Scamacca, and then that was late. That was late one night, and then we heard the context behind it and the whole interview, and then people started to realise that what Scamacca said probably wasn't as bad as what we first sort of perceived it to be. So that's the situation we're in now, and I thought it's been a couple of days since it's all happened, so we're now going to sort of go through it. I'm going to read a key part out of the interview, and we can sort of try and dissect it and see what it means, because Scamacca is now out with the squad out down under in Australia as we prepare for our two pre-season games against Perth Glory and of course Spurs over there to really kickstart our pre-season after our 4-1 win against Boreham Wood on Monday night. So of course there has been a lot of speculation, a lot of opinions, and a lot of sort of media coverage because of this interview on Gianluca Scamacca, and I'm now going to take this opportunity to have a little look at the interview, and here it is then. Right, so I'm going to read out. So it was given to the Gazzetta dello Sport, and he said, on Monday we had a friendly and I played 45 minutes. It was the first part on the pitch after 3 months of inactivity and a meniscus surgery. It was fantastic to be back on the pitch, and I felt excellent. I'll be in top form from the start of the season. After last season's physical problems, I am due some luck. If I'm fine, I'll score 20 goals. Maybe people don't know it, but I played all year with a broken meniscus. Then at a certain point it was impossible to continue, and I ended up under the surgeon's knife. Until March I played 27 games, scored 8 goals. It could have gone better, but even worse. The Conference League was a great joy for everyone. It was our passion, and from the beginning of the season. I didn't play in the final against Fiorentina, it's true, but of course I feel the Conference League is mine as well. I scored 3 goals in 7 games in the competition. Nostalgia, I've always had it and always will have it, but if I was to return to Serie A, it wouldn't be because I failed in England, which isn't the case. It would simply be because an opportunity that I couldn't reject would come up. No, it wouldn't even be a step backwards for my career. Our league, he references the Italian league, remains one of the best. So I'm just going to amend this and move down. So he does say back to Roma. So this is the key bit now. He said, back to Roma. I've always thought with my heart, and I will continue to do so in the future. And what the two colours of my heart are. But now I'm a West Ham player, and despite all the rumours, I feel good here too. For me, Roma is home, and Totti, my idol, and as a child as well. And what player in the world wouldn't dream of being coached by Mourinho? I am convinced that Mourinho would stimulate me, and with him, I would improve even more. We spoke with Pellegrini. He is a friend. Let's say we joked about it a bit. And the key thing to bring out of it, what people got a little bit angrier about was sort of Fabrizio took a bit out of it and said, his home is Roma, and that's where he wants to go. That's what it sort of inferred. That's what it meant. And that angered West Ham fans. And we've now seen a more contextualised and sort of down to earth, and it's not just a bit, it's a bit out of context that's been picked out of an interview. And we've now got Scamacca, a player that hopefully is going to be hungry, that's going to score goals next season. He's now said that he's happy at West Ham, and barring anything now, we can all presume he will be in claret and blue next season. So hopefully, He mentioned in that interview his frustrations with his injury, his injury issues last season, which played a huge role in him being sidelined for a big proportion of last season. Let's not forget that. It must have been frustrating for him. First season at a club, he spent a lot of time on the injury table, a lot of time on the operation table, not enough time to really express himself to the potential that he believes he has. And you can see he's got the confidence there. He came out straight out and said, if I'm fit, I'll score 20 goals next season. I quite like that. Some people think that's a bit big-headed, a bit overconfident. I like a player saying that. I like a striker going, yeah, I am going to score 20 goals next season, because that shows the mentality that that player has. If they're fit and if they're ready to go, they will impact that team in a positive way. And I think that's what Scamacca can do. There's been loads of sort of discussions about Scamacca after last season. Yes, in some games that he did play, I don't think he helped himself at all. I thought he was poor in some games he played last season, but who wasn't? Who wasn't poor in some games last season? He mentioned himself about the role he played early on in the Conference League. He scored 3 goals in the group stage of the Conference League that got us through and got us, plain sailing. We didn't have to worry about it. It was a breeze, and that was played a huge role by Scamacca with his contributions, with a few goals to help us along the way. Gianluca Scamacca's still got a lot to give to West Ham, and the games that he did play towards the back end of the season, I don't think he really performed to the quality he has done. But we now, I think, can see that he is ready, he is hungry, and I think he's a player that will go out and will give everything. And the key is we've just got to play, we've got to play his way. If we want to get the best out of this player, then we need to play to his strengths. We've gone through so many strikers in the last 10 years that have just been flops, fails, and a waste of money. Let's not make Scamacca another one. Let's not add Scamacca to that list. Let's play the way he wants to play, because that player has potential. And I think he can really offer us something that I don't think we've had for a long time in terms of leading the line for West Ham, and in terms of, he's got that bit of pace there, the physical presence. And as well, I don't know what's happening with Mikel Antonio this summer, but if Mikel Antonio stays, it provides a different option. It's not just we're going to play the same way week in, week out. We can change things, we can alter things. But this has massively got to come down to the mindset and the willingness for Moyes to change, which worries me, because I don't think he can. But it's clear to get the best out of Gianluca Scamacca, then we need to play to his strengths. I see who we've got in the chat. Lawrence, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Good afternoon to everyone. Dad, hope you're well, mate. Andy says, I'm a Celtic supporter, but West Ham is my second team. Well, thank you very much indeed for joining me. So yeah, it's an interesting one. It's a story that rocked the West Ham world for a few hours, and then it was all cooled back down again when we saw the context of this. And of course, it was a timeline of events that was predictable. A player that didn't really play much, got a couple of injuries, seemed unhappy, goes on an interview with an Italian newspaper and vents his frustrations. It all seemed a little bit too realistic, but hopefully we can put this past us now, and he can play well, and he can fit into this mould at West Ham really well next season. Next up, well, we've got to talk about Declan Rice, haven't we? Some reports are suggesting Arsenal are having are having cash flow issues. However, X confirmed a little bit earlier on today that Rice is still expected to be an Arsenal player by Friday or Saturday. I believe his tweet was worded. Now we're all fed up of this now, aren't we? We're hearing X has said Rice is going to film a goodbye video, whether that's to put on his own socials or whether that's to put on the club official socials. We will wait and see. Many people don't want to see this goodbye video, but I've got a different view of it. Of course, he's going to Arsenal. We're all, we're not best pleased about that, and we've done a lot of talking ourselves. And if Rice wants to say something and get off his chest, then I think he should be allowed to do that. And maybe if he wants to say something controversial, that will that could be quite interesting. But let's hope it's just the goodbye that I think we deserve as a fan base, and maybe an explanation of why he's gone there, because there's been definitely question marks put onto why he preferred to go to Arsenal to Man City. That still baffles me as I talk about it to this second, to be honest with you. But it's done now. The deal's accepted, and we're just waiting for lawyers and stuff to get it done. And maybe it's a bit of Arsenal payback. We pushed them and we frustrated them with this deal. We wanted to get every single penny out of this we possibly could, and now it seems like Arsenal are prolonging it. It seems like Arsenal aren't in any rush pitch, now that they've come to the realization that we need the money, we need to spend it. Maybe it's a bit of payback there. Maybe they're going, well, we're going to make you wait a bit, which is incredibly frustrating and just a little bit silly, to be honest with you, from Arsenal's sort of side of things. But let's hope this gets done on Friday or Saturday. Let's get the money in. Let's hope Arsenal can get their cash issues resolved and we can spend some money, because we are now less than a month away from the start of next season, and at the moment we've got not a fit midfield. We've got Suchik and Paqueta in the midfield, which just isn't going to work. We need players. We probably need 3 or 4 players to come in, and if the Rice money is the only money we've got coming in, then let's hope Tim Steiding can pick up some gems from somewhere. Maybe another Soufal for £5 million. But no, joking aside, we need to get this money in because we need to spend it, because I'm becoming very worried about the start of the season that's approaching us quite quickly, and at the moment, let's not beat around the bush. We're not prepared. We're a squad that is incredibly light. Just lost our captain. Just lost Manuel Lanzini. This squad needs rebuilding, and the longer Arsenal drag this on, the harder it's going to be for us to rebuild it in the short amount of time that we've now left ourselves to get these players in, to get our squad to a position where it's going to be able to play 60 games next season. We're in the Europa League, of course, Carabao Cup, FA Cup, Premier League. It's going to be another jam-packed, congested season for West Ham. However far we get into the Europa League, even if we get knocked out in the group stage of the Europa League, that's still another 6 games on top of the season. So we need to take this into consideration, and we need to start spending some money, because our squad at the moment is not fit for purpose, and not fit to start this Premier League season. Let's take some more of your comments. Thunder and Joy says Scamacca needs to learn to adapt. Who does he think he is? I think there's an element of both. Both sort of sides need to compromise here. We need to play the way he needs to. The way he expresses himself. There's no good, it's no good us going out signing players playing a completely different style of football than the player we've signed, because it makes absolutely zero sense. So the thing we've got to do, both sides have got to compromise. Scamacca's got to be open-minded and has got to work on weaknesses and get up to speed with the Premier League again, and hopefully he can have a good season in Claret and Blue. He needs to get his head down and get going. Curtis says Moyes needs to change his style as well. Even Sir Alex did over the years. Exactly. He needs to alter. He needs to eradicate this stubbornness that's deep inside him. And yes, we're all chuffed with the Conference League win. It was a special night. But with the players we've got there, the overriding issues of the Premier League campaign last season remain. They're still there. They don't go away. No matter how good that night was in Prague, there's still issues there with this team and the way they want to play and the way Moyes wants to play, because there's a huge damning contrast between those two spectacles, and that needs to be sorted. It does. Otherwise, we're going to be in for another long, tiring season in the Premier League, in my opinion. Thunder and Joy says Scamacca walked around like he's CR7 and done nothing for us. He couldn't even be bothered to watch his teammates in the final. I think his sort of attitude and his body language at times can be questioned on the pitch as well. But he was there in Prague, because I think he gave a hug to David. He gave a hug to David Moyes on the pitch, so I think he was there. But yeah, I do think a attitude probably alteration is probably intact and is probably needed, in my opinion. So yeah, I think he was at the final, but I do get your point, Thunder and Joy. I do, I really do. But yeah, overall, there's not much West Ham news kicking about. Of course, we had Manuel Lanzini's goodbye video, which was really, really good and special, which he released yesterday, I think it was. So we've now bid farewell to our dual Manuel Lanzini. Why didn't we sign him out for another year? Is the only question I will ask there, with the current position, with the midfield and attacking wise that we find ourselves in. And yeah, of course, Rice and Scamacca seem to be leading the headlines in the West Ham world at the moment. And hopefully, if we can get this Rice deal over the line and finally get it done, we can start signing some players, putting bids in, not just we tried or we're inquiring. Let's put bids in. Let's be serious. Clubs are going to know we're going to have a bit more money than usual, so the price of players is going to elevate. It's going to go up, but we need to be, we need to be prepared for that. We need to be smart, and we need to make astute signings that's going to add and contribute in a positive manner to the way Moyes wants to play, which I hope and we all hope he's going to adapt. As I said, otherwise it's going to be a long season ahead of us once again, which I think the fans, none of us want. None of us want. Fathead says he missed a semi. He was having treatment. Right, that's it. So, hopefully, he's back in fitness now, and he can excel and flourish, hopefully, in this West Ham team. We'll be annoyed if Lanzini signs from a Premier League. I don't think he will. I think he'll go, River Plate or one of those sides like that. I think he'll go more towards his home. But yeah, the question I ask is, why couldn't we convince him for another year? Because he still had some to give. I still think he had a bit to give to this side. But that's my, that's my thoughts on it, and hopefully we can get replacements in. Arsenal don't have cash issues. Well, what's the hold up for then? There's obviously something that's happened, because a bid was accepted 9 days ago now. Something's happened. Reports have suggested that Arsenal may have cash issues there. Fathead says, I know X and Central like to breed doom and gloom, but there will be offers in for players, and the new director of football will be heavily involved, but only been in place 2 weeks. I think X was sort of given the balance side of it, and I think he's had a lot of patience with Arsenal fans this summer, to be honest with you. So I take my hat off for him for that. But there's not much to say at the moment. I don't know where these bids are coming from, because we've been told that we're not spending until we get money in. Obviously, after the huge amount of money, the huge amount of money that we spent last summer, it's damning, because we're now left, and I've been thinking this all year, we can have any money to spend next summer, because the amount we spent last summer, we barely ever as a football club go out and spend the amount of money we spent last year. So really, are we gonna have anything on top of what we get for Rice? That's what concerns me. That's what really concerns me. Anyway, thank you very much indeed, everybody, for watching. Drop a like on the video and subscribe to West Ham Official if you're new. Check out our channel sponsors, SRM Carver and Sun, by clicking the link in the description down below. To sum things up, Scamacca has done an interview. It's been viewed in different ways. He's mentioned his West Ham future. He's committed now to West Ham for next season, and hopefully we can get the best out of him. And of course, Arsenal are still, are they stalling? I don't know. A bid was accepted for Rice 9 days ago. They've got that Timber bloke, and that seems to be, all done now. And it seems like there's some sort of issue there, because otherwise this would be all done by now. But hopefully by the weekend, it can be all tied up. It can be all done. We can have that first instalment of money paid into our account, and we can start bidding for players. But from me, thank you very much, and I will see you soon right here on West Ham Official. Hit the thumbs up, and yeah, exactly. So. Fab News, Fab said it's almost done, the Rice deal. He said that for over a week, to be fair, but we're hearing, hopefully, we are on the home stretch, and we have the big Europe money as well. Yeah, exactly. We had a bit of a bonus for winning the Conference League as well. So there's got to be some money there. We can't be running off zero until the Rice money comes in. But yeah, hey ho, we'll see. It's going to be an interesting month now before the start of the season, and I just hope we get ourselves together, we get our act together, and we sign the players that we need to start the season in a strong fashion. Because boy, we've got some difficult fixtures after Bournemouth away, haven't we? From me, come on you irons, and we'll see you soon. Thank you very much, and bye bye.